A huge big welcome to you all. It's so great to be here with you today. And today I'm so excited to talk about a step back because often we can define a step back as a setback and we end up making it mean that we're failing or we're not doing it right in some way, shape, or form. Hey, Rhonda, great to have you on, honey. And it's so important to actually realize that all of these things are happening for a reason and for a purpose. And sometimes what I've certainly found for myself is that when I have a setback or feels like I'm taking a few steps backwards, it's actually a point of resetting. But without actually clarifying it as that or framing it as that, we can often beat up on ourselves. And particularly if you're a high achieving woman, you're used to moving forward, you're used to taking all of the actions, all of the steps. Sometimes when we're actually healing burnout, the step back is exactly what we actually need. If you think about even just from a landscape perspective, when we actually step back, we tend to get a better view of everything. We can observe something instead of actually being in it. And that's really, really important because until we get catch a sight of the bigger picture, often we can't make sense of things, or we just think that we're failing, or we go into some of those old patterns. So a step back or a setback is actually giving you exactly the time, the space that you actually need to be able to reevaluate things. I know from my own journey, like if I feel like I'm waking up and I'm tired and I'm not, firing on all cylinders, or I'm not feeling as energetic as I used to be, or I'm just having a very, very flat day, often my ego, my inner critic will be really, really noisy and loud about that. It'll start beating myself up. It'll be like really, really loud. And it's so important to be able to take that time to go, hang on a second, what's actually really going on here? Was there something that I was thinking yesterday that really triggered me? Was there something that was really impacting me, either emotionally, mentally, physically? Did I overdo it yesterday? Hey, Belinda, great to have you on too, Dylan. Did I overdo it yesterday? Did I, not say no when I actually needed to say, did I not say no when I actually really needed to say no? Was I saying yes, more times than what I actually needed to? Did I overschedule myself? Did I put too much pressure on myself? All of these things are so, so, so important. And it's really important if you're waking up and you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going backwards, I'm not taking action, really stop. And because when we're in burnout, the inner critic, the ego mind is so, so loud. And if you didn't read my post yesterday, definitely jump to that because it's so important to understand how to actually work with our inner critic and how to work with our mind to be able to reframe these things, to have a deeper perspective of how you actually can have these clarifying moments where that's stepping back and just stopping and pausing for a moment, allowing yourself the space. Because what I know is that most women that are burnt out are so used to filling their time with everybody else's needs, everybody else's wants, and what everybody else is, needing from you. And it really, a step back can actually give you that time and that space that you actually really need for yourself. So take that time. If you're in that experience right now, please reframe it. Please understand that this is a pause for you to actually really get clear and to really decide what's going on for you, what's actually creating these circumstances where perhaps you are feeling flat, or you're not feeling great, or you feel like your healing journey has taken a few steps backwards. Are you putting too much pressure on yourself? Like going through all those things that I mentioned at the start of the video can be really, really powerful in being able to reframe this and move forward. And if you are really, really stuck, because often the very thing that took us into burnout is the thing that perpetuates burnout, and often the root cause of that is not what we're actually clear on. It will be a deep, long pattern of needing to people please, or coping mechanisms of being extra busy so that we don't have to focus on or feel what it is that we're feeling. And it's an illusion of attempting to get control. And all of those things, if they are not dealt with at a deeper level, they will keep running us, and we can end up running for an entire lifetime. And I generally find around 38 to about 45, sometimes a little bit older, that is when all of these things start to catch up with us if we have not actually dealt with them before this time. And so it's like where you've previously been able to go, nah, it's good, it's all right, like I'm just going to restock, okay, I'm going to push forward, I'm just going to keep going, I just need to get on with it, I can't stop, I can't rest, if I do that, everything else is going to fall apart. If you're at that point and you're finding you're getting more and more tired and it's harder and harder to get going in the morning, please stop, take that pause, because it is so important to really step back and say, hang on, ask yourself a deeper question, what is going on here? Because what I found for myself, pushing through just literally led me into a place where I literally could barely function for 2 hours a day, and it is a scary place, and not to mention how loud the inner critic gets in beating ourselves up, thinking we should be doing more, putting all that pressure on ourselves, and it ends up taking us back into that cycle and creates a really big downward spiral where we just feel worse and worse and worse. So if you're in that place, please reach out. Let's book in a time to have a chat, see if and how I may be able to help you move forward. But if you're feeling like, yeah, overall I feel like I'm moving forward pretty good, you've just had a step back or a setback, really take stock, ask yourself, what's going on here, what's draining my energy? Thank you so much, Rhonda. Lots of love to you, darling. And hey, Tisha, great to have you on as well too, honey. And thanks so much for your comment as well too, Belinda. Really important to take stock. What's going on? What's affecting me physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or even financially? What do I need to do in order to resolve this for myself? Is it that I need to set clearer boundaries? Is it that I need to find my voice a little bit more? Or is it that I need to do some deeper healing work, perhaps on the beliefs that have me feeling guilty if I'm resting, that have me feeling like a bad person if I'm putting everybody else's needs ahead of my own? Because it is absolutely so important to give from an overflowing cup. We cannot give sustainably. I have a huge heart. I absolutely want to give, but I cannot give the best of me if I'm not giving from the overflow. If it's getting down to, the bottom 20-30% left in my cup, it's like it's not good what comes out, right? And I'm sure everybody else can relate to that, where it drives a lot of anger and resentment when we're trying to push through. That anger and resentment is letting you know you're violating your own boundaries by continuing to push, either to yourself or with others, from what others are asking you. And as adults, we have to come in and reparent these fractured parts of ourselves that continue to want to show up, be the people pleaser, or that we're doing it to get that outside or external validation, love, approval, acceptance, belonging, or we believe it's just who we are. And that has been deeply ingrained from the patterning that's happened as we're a child, and who we needed to be, or who we thought we needed to be in order to belong, fit in, and be accepted, certainly within our birth family, if not like society in general. So hopefully that's been very helpful to you all. Lots of love. Have an amazing rest of your day. Remember to take that time, that pause. If you are going through a setback or a step back, it is a platform for you to develop a greater and deeper foundation and a more stable way of moving forward, and a more sustainable way of moving forward. And that is the key to healing burnout. Lots of love. Bye.